I want to loop it back to, what James was saying. James was saying we're optimistic, or he's optimistic. I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
I take a look at the declining ratings of these institutions. I take a look at, we have the story actually from the Post-Millennial. Red wave poll shows dramatic shift in party preference from Democrat to Republican at the end of 2021. So this is from Gallup, one of the most credible polling institutions, so they say. And we can see that around the third quarter, there was a big decline in a shift occurring. And by quarter 4 of 2021, Republican identification outweighed Democrat by 5 points. This is for the first time in a couple, 20 years, maybe. There was a period, I think, in 2010s where it was fairly even, but we haven't seen this pronounced of a flip since 91. Now, I don't think Republicans are necessarily the answer. I think voting in the primaries and voting for people who care about this country is the answer. But the fact that people are breaking away from the establishment narratives, from declining ratings to party shift, I think matters. I think it's grounds for optimism, right?
Well, I keep on plugging my book, but the second book you should reread every year is 1984, which is the year I was born.
Oh, boy.
And in this book, Winston,
sign.
the protagonist, Winston, 1984, says the party is a metaphor for what we're talking about, tells you to reject the evidence of your own eyes and ears. Winston said, it is the final, most essential commandment. It is the number one rule. Don't trust your own eyes and ears. But the moment propaganda becomes apparent, it loses its effect. And I think what's happening right now is people are starting to wake up. And you, Luke, I think you're right. I think they're losing what do you call it, a dog that was, an animal that was caged or something. I like that metaphor.
Trapped.
A trapped animal.
And I think this is also why in 1984 they made them repeat 2 + 2 = 5, because it's nonsensical and they couldn't have common sense. They couldn't have rational debate and discussion. They needed to, of course, obey the state and the controllers at all costs.
It's the Emanuel Goldstein manual, 1984. It requires a moment-to-moment flexibility in the treatment of facts. So that scene you're talking about where they're torturing Winston, 2 + 2 is 5, and Winston's like, well,
spoiler alert for people.
Sorry, in case you haven't read it since high school. And he's like, I don't understand. 2 + 2 = 4. And it says, and finally Winston, because he's being tortured, he says, well, 2 + 2 is whatever you want it to be.
Exactly.
But I feel like
There are 4 lights.
I feel like
Yes.
This is America. Damn it, this is America, and I think we're different than any other country in the history of the world. I just don't think I'm hopeful because I think people understand what's happening. What the danger, Tim, is that most people are afraid, and that pension, mortgage, kids. Well,
Or
good luck to your kids, because if we don't
status.
change this, maybe your kids will be holding bayonets, or whatever the modern equivalent of a bayonet will be. So we better give up our pensions and our mortgages. There's more to life than my mortgage. You got to blow the
But
whistle.
it's really, it's very difficult when you have so much to lose.
What's the point of living?
What's the point of living?
What's the point of life? What's
Well, James,
Is this is the question? What's the meaning of life?
Absolutely, this is the question.
Well, I don't think there's an answer to what is the meaning of life.
No. My question's you posed a rhetorical question to me, and my answer is.
I'm saying.
Or I posed a rhetorical question to you.
Right.
What's the point of life if without meaning? The pursuit of happiness. Well, there's also the pursuit of meaning.
Sure.
And the excuse that we're giving is we're following orders. There's 120,000
What I'm
people
saying is, if you have people who have a family and they have a home and they want to protect those things,
Right.
they're going to go to great lengths to protect those things. They're not going to give them up until they're forced to.
I
if you
disagree,
if you
actually.
can get dinner on the table and you can go to your job, you're going to do those things. That's what people do.
What if you're being
I-
asked to do unconstitutional legal things?
Well, then we see people start to give those things up when they have to.
That's the issue.
And
at
that's
hand.
but that's
disagree
a
with-
different point for everybody, isn't it?
When there is you live in a house and you're surrounded by a wooded area and there is a fire on the horizon, you have people saying, well, I think if we just sit around and do nothing, the fire eventually won't hit us and we'll get lucky. And it's like, or you can take action now, get your family out before the fire destroys your home. What we're seeing right now is that people aren't willing to go to great lengths to protect their friends and family or their children, to make sure there's food on the table. They're looking at short-term gains and long-term losses. So the reason I use the forest fire analogy is that
This is like Chekhov with the trees.
it's off in the distance. Okay, the fire's not here right now.
Why did the peasants
I
keep cutting
know
down
there's
the
a
forest?
fire. I know there's a fire. I know it is destroying people's homes. I know my neighbors have lost everything, but I'll be fine. I'm sure of it.
Right.
They think if they keep their head down,
This
the
is what
mob won't come to their house.
Solzhenitsyn describes in the Gulag Archipelago: to survive at any price. And to survive at any price is the danger, because if you continue down this road, I like your analogy of long term, you're going to live in a society which is permanently corrupted, where the lie becomes a permanent form of existence, and you have to sell out your own family to not go to the gulags, so
James,
to speak.
when you're breaking rocks in the gulags, there's going
Yeah.
to be a guy 10 years older, and he's going to go, "Hey James, I ever tell you about how my kid played soccer?" And you're going to be like, "Oh yeah, that was
My
back in the
worst
day,
part
huh?"
about the gulags is the inevitable hunger strike, because I like to eat. I get hangry. But this is a serious point, because I want to go back to this point which you and I disagree with, because this is the issue at hand.
I'm not defending people for not wanting to fight. I'm
Yeah.
saying people don't want to fight. Right, we have
I'm
a
not
very
asking everyone.
comfortable-
So
we have a very
this is
comfortable
so this is
culture
my
for the
my
most part.
Martin Luther
And
moment.
Maybe we are at a breaking point here.
Yeah, this is my Martin Luther moment. This is the issue at hand. What we're talking
You're
about.
nailing stuff on the door
That's
right now.
it.
Okay.
Right now, here I stand. I can do no other. What we're talking about, you and I, in this moment, that's everything. I have people who have families who are making money for Facebook, Pinterest. They gave it all up for the public's right to know, and they did so as a leap of faith. And the American people protected them. The HHS whistleblower Jody, she raised $500,000 after she gave up her job for filming stuff in the emergency room. Zach at Google, Eric Cochran at Pinterest said, "I'll fall to ashes one day. I want my life to mean something after I'm gone." Those are his words, not mine.
Sure. I mean, I've I lost everything because I wrote the truth, right? Like,
Right.
This happened to me too.
And we need more
this
people
kind
to
of
do
thing
this.
happens to Andy all the time.
And we need more people
yes,
to do this.
we need to speak up for that.